Hey there, everybody. Ammie Dover here with the DoverDrive Experience. Thank you so much for tuning into today's broadcast. We have an incredible show designed. We're carrying on that theme of turning your hobby and your passion into a thriving business. And we have a very special guest on the show with us today. I have the cosplay actress, social influencer, personality with Live Like Local Savannah. Altogether, incredible human being. She's quickly becoming one of my favorite human beings. I have on the line with me Cree Michelle Rogers. So, hello to Miss Cree Michelle. How are you today?
I am doing great, Amy. Hi, hi.
So, okay. For those of us who are not as well versed in cosplay, tell me who you are today.
All right, so this is gonna sound like I'm saying bula bula bula, but I am Usagiyama Rui from Boku no Hero Academia.
I am not even going to try to repeat that, my friend. I hope everybody got it right out of her mouth because I'm not even going to try that. So tell me a little bit about, before we get into the meat and the potatoes of like what you're doing for business wise, tell me a little bit about, what cosplay is and how you got involved in creating costumes and becoming these characters.
Whew, that's a long story. Of course, I started off as an actress way back in middle school, and I started getting involved in all the different facets of theater and everything that you do, which includes costume creation. And since I loved it so much, and I also loved watching cartoons, I used to always steal clothes that I knew my mom wasn't using and try to make little costumes myself. That, of course, eventually grew into this thing that I discovered called cosplay, where I could, pick my favorite characters and actually try to recreate their outfits. Straight through high school, it was nonstop. I paused a little in college, but that's when I found my team, the Usual Rangers 5, and we created our Power Ranger team. And that's when I started cosplaying seriously, and it's taken over my life since.
I love that it's a takeover in the best possible way, right? Because it's something that you're really passionate about, that you enjoy doing. And in my mind, as we're building businesses, that whole entrepreneurial spirit, that's success. Success is making money at something that impacts other people's lives and that you really enjoy. And if you can do that, man, that's just the sweet spot right there.
I have a friend who told me that what you want to do is make your career something you love. That way, it's never a job, it's never a chore. You'll always enjoy it.
Yeah, we were talking the other day and just recently, even in prep for all of this, about how, you know, when you have your own business, you almost work 7 days a week, 24/7. And it's not that you're so laser focused in it, but you enjoy it so much you really don't ever turn it off. And I believe in boundaries, don't get me wrong. Like, there are times I shut it off. uh, you have to, you absolutely have to, otherwise, other things rule your life. And I'm big about boundaries and priorities. And so, but all in all, like, it doesn't really bother me to get phone calls 7 days a week. It doesn't really bother me to be engaged or to do a quick tip or help somebody along the way. So are you finding that you just don't shut it off?
Yes, because everything comes up, helps me come up with a new idea. Just the other day, I made a simple post that exploded into an idea that's going to fill up an entire week of content for me. So it's not that I never just personally shut it off. No, it's always going on in the back of my mind, even when I am relaxing. I'll be binge watching something on Netflix, and boom, I'll get a cosplay idea. It never stops.
I truly believe that. And it's when you love it that much, you're in a creative space about it. And that's what keeps business running. And it doesn't mean that like for those of you who are watching right now, there's a clear difference between the way that I show up in my business and the way that Cree is showing up in her business right now. But that does not mean that either one is less or more creative. And it really takes that creative mindset of always having that conversation. I always have 7 to 27 conversations in my head going at any given time. Right. And I joke about it a lot, but it is the God's honest truth that, you see something and it's like, how can I implement that? How can I make that work for me? You don't want to mimic people. That's really important as you're building a business. You never want to just simply copy what somebody else is doing, but you can have an idea and put your own twist on it, your own flavor, your own brand, and really make it very, very successful. And I'm always listening
It's
for.
great that you say that, actually. One thing about cosplay is that a lot of other people will be doing the same costume that you are doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people seem to have fun with that. When you go to a con and they're having a photo shoot based on this one anime or this one concept, everybody's wearing the same costume, rushes up when it's their turn to take pictures, and they're all hugging, and it's a great fun time. But if you want to make yourself stand out just that much more, you have to figure out, okay, what can I do here?
I think I may have lost you a little bit on the audio there. So I'm going to just pick up. Hopefully, I'm the only one hearing that. But it is interesting that you have to have your own spin and your own flavor on everything. Because there's so many business consultants, there are so many television shows, there are so many people broadcasting interviews right now. And it's, how do you set yourself apart? What components really are going to set you apart and really make you something completely different than the person who may be in the same exact outfit as you. So I think I just lost Cree. I'm going to continue on. Okay, so I may continue on. Let's see. Speaking of 7 conversations, I have one in my ear telling me what's happening in the production. So, guys, are we going to be right back, or am I going to chat? Okay, so we're gonna keep talking. All right. We're live, people. This is what happens. We are live. We're going to get Cree right back on the line. But in the meantime, it's pretty incredible. There she is. Are we back live? I can see her. I don't know if you guys can see her, but she's in. Okay. Welcome back. We're rolling with this. We're absolutely rolling with live broadcasts. So this is live and in living color, and we just keep going. So Cree, we were just talking about how the same costume is worn by so many people when you show up to a con, and yet how are you separating yourself from people who are in the same character? Let's pick up there.
Things that people do are like, if the character glows in any kind of way, if the character has some sort of scarring or mark, you try to recreate that to the best of your ability, be it using special effects, makeup, or even LED lights. You always try to find that one thing that you can do that no one else can do, so that way you stand out.
So I want to pause right there for 2 seconds, because I want you guys to submit questions for Cree, because what you just said, I actually received a question about, and I want to see where we're going with all of this. But while I pause the discussion with Cree for a second, send in your questions. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, you're on Periscope, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch right now, I think that's the platforms that we're broadcasting to at this moment. So whatever that platform is, send in your questions and we're going to spend some time. This is such an easy conversation today because just because we happen to know each other, and we're just going to talk about the things that are happening in life and in business. So if you have questions, definitely send those in. So Cree, one of the questions that I did get along the way was, where did you learn how to do makeup for the special effects?
That I am a proud graduate of YouTube University.
Ah,
Um, one of my biggest things with cosplay is that there's nothing you cannot learn. Okay, there's nothing that you cannot figure out from just pure hard notes to the grindstone research. So whenever I have something to do, for example, when I do my okoye, obviously I have to take all of my hair away and apply a bald cap. That was not a skill of mine before the Infinity War movie came out, when I had to make okoye. So of course I YouTube, like my entire YouTube feed changes when I'm looking up information. I have to find out, okay, so what glues do I use? What are the best ball caps that look natural? Do they have ball caps in my skin tone? No. How do I make ball caps in my skin tone? At one point, I was actually making a bald cap using liquid latex and a balloon that I just blown up. Like, you have to
oh,
really be
wow.
resourceful in order to get to that point where you're constantly putting out stuff.
So that leads me to the first question that was just entered in, and that is, what's the most complicated costume that you've created? Was that it, or was there something even more complicated?
I'm not gonna lie, Okoye was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Literally, all three of those things were in my costume at some point. If we were to do a DNA scan of that costume, you'd find it. But I have since topped myself with my Amani from Paladin's cosplay. From the wig that goes all the way down to the floor, to the light up LEDs all the way through the costume, the foam work. Imani was a lot of work. And it was a huge learning curve for me, especially since I had to learn how to make my hands glow without that actually being a thing in the real world. Like, no one walks around with their fingertips to their elbows glowing different colors, you know? And
Right.
apparently it's not a costume anywhere else. So I had to figure that one out all by myself.
So that's another question that we did receive was, do you make all of your costumes?
With the Usual Rangers 5, my team, we have a motto, and it was actually created while we were working on our Mighty Morphin Power Ranger costumes. It's make what you can, buy what you can't. That way you are maximizing all your funds. You are not stressing out over having to make gloves, because I don't even like drawing hands, let alone making gloves, which is a whole other step up above. So whenever we come across something that's like, okay, we can easily buy that piece, but this piece is so intricate and specific, we have to make it. We kind of balance the two. That way our budget isn't stressed and our brains aren't stressed.
I love that, because if you really apply that very concept to business, not just costume making, it's do what you can with what you have and outsource the things that you're not genius at, right?
Yes.
That's just what you said.
Yes, yes,
Outsource the thing. Like, let me put my business hat back on for a second. So we all know, we've heard my videos before, we've heard my talks before, that I don't like the numbers. I like knowing that I have numbers in the account, but I don't like dealing with the numbers. So you outsource your bookkeeper, you outsource your CPA and all that goodness. And so that's exactly what you just said.
I can't stress how important that is, because a lot of people who want to get into cosplay are always nervous because they don't know where to start and they don't know where to get the materials and how much this is. And they see, when you
Yeah.
first come into cosplay, if you were to Google it, you'd see all these amazing larger than life costumes. So if that's your first impression, you're like, can't do it. Nope,
Right.
done, scared, can't do it. But if you approach it to the sense where, all right, what do you want to learn how to do? What can you already do? Hey, do you have to make this costume, or can you find it for $45 on eBay? You know, pick your battles, basically.
Absolutely. It's called opportunity costs.
Yeah.
So what you just defined is called opportunity costs. So does it cost you more to physically struggle through it, or does it save you money to pay somebody else to do it? And that's the balance of business. So we're getting a little cosplay, a little business, a lot of everything else coming through. I just got a question through my ear that I didn't understand. So guys, if you can repeat that for me, that would be fantastic. And we'll do a rapid fire of Q&A with Cree.
Why not?
What is a green? What's on your dream cosplay list? Like, I'm listening, guys. When I said 7 to 27 conversations, it is the truth. What is your dream cosplay list?
Dream cosplay list? Whoo, we'd be here for a minute. That's a tough question. It's like asking, hey, what's your favorite video game? I could not tell you for the life of me. But I do know one that is on my list. I'm going to go ahead and say it because I think if I say it, it's going to happen. Um, my goal is Master Raven from Tekken 7. She's another very intricate, very intricate character. I'd have to learn wig working again. I'd have to try and figure out the lights. I'd have to figure out, it's a lot of foam work and sewing with the bodice and body suit. I mean, it'll take all my skills once again to throw it together. And my goal is to have it out for next year.
Wow.
I'm saying it. It's out there. I can't take it back.
We'll do a little recap interview in about a year. I can't pronounce what you just said of who it is, but we'll do the replay and I'll be like, hey, listen to this. This is what you said.
Wearing the costume then. That is the goal, to be wearing that costume and be like, booyah, did it.
All right, well, let's make it happen. Let's absolutely make it happen. Speaking of making it happen, though, let's get a little bit of a shift happening here. You have really turned this into something that you're pursuing as a passionate, active business, and that means making money at it. So the topic of today's talk really is, turning your passion into a thriving business. And so I want to know, like, what tips you would tell anyone trying to, not just any business, or not just cosplay, but any business really. What's one of the tips that you would say that you absolutely must do in order to propel yourself moving forward?
There are so many things. I've thought about this a lot in actually going through the process. The one thing that is the biggest help to me, honestly, is having a team.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. You can't do a lot of this alone. It's the same, going back to the idea of make what you can, buy what you can't, outsource. You have to be able to say, I am not the best at this, and I'm going to find somebody who can help me make this the best that it can be. I've done a lot of projects on my own where I was double dipping in several different sauce cups and mixing flavors, and then what you get out isn't the best flavor you could get. It's stressful, it's tiring, and your product does suffer because of it. Luckily, when I started going full throttle into this, I was found by the Speyre Network, and now we are working together to do all kinds of live shows and working on my Twitch channel, giving me a space to be able to create costumes. It's this amazing collaboration with the Speyre Network that has gotten me this far and given me the confidence to keep going.
Yeah, I love the word that you just said, that magic word of collaboration. And, there's only so far that you can get by yourself in anything, business, hobby, skill level, learning, whatever it is. I am a big proponent of collaborating with people because now you have an extra set of eyes and ears and a very intelligent mind that's collaborating with you and can help take your ideas to the next level. Not only that, yeah, right, because I'm not the smartest person in the room all the time.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be, right? I shouldn't be.
Exactly. Like I make it a habit. I never post anything before I've had at least 2 eyes on it. And I'm not just talking about, the simple Instagram posts. I think I can handle those.
Right.
But as far as if I do a big production, if I'm doing a huge cosplay, if I've collaborated with someone, I make sure that person's going to see it. I have an outside party see it. I have someone who doesn't even know what the source is look at it. And if they can see it and be like, I enjoyed this, I grasped it, I don't know what it's from, but I can enjoy it, I know I've done my job. And if anybody in those few that I go to don't understand or something's not clear, all right, back to the drawing board. Let's make sure that this is good for everybody, not just those who will get it on first glance.
So that leads me to a bit of brand management, right? You and I have had this discussion before that it really does take a team to manage your brand. And so tell me about what like the Speyre Network is doing for your brand right now, because I know that it's on warp speed right now.
Yes, we are, oh my gosh, going ludicrous speed right now. We have basically what the Speyre Network has done is taken everything that I've thought of doing, tried to do, and they put it in a manageable box and said, okay, this box has sections. So if you need this, here you go. This is the section that you need. This is the part that you need to be able to handle this part of what you're doing. They help me organize everything. They have helped me create, I'm working on my webpage right now, and they are developing that for me, developing video content for me. When I do my Twitch streams now, they have a setup for me, and they are helping me have the nicest setup, the clearest way to communicate with my followers and fans. They have pretty much taken everything that is Cree, which is a lot, and made it manageable and easily accessible. And you can't trade that in for the world. That is the most help that I could ever ask for.
Yeah, I love that because, even they're producing, the Speyre Network is producing this production right now. And, we have several other people on the line with us right now. It looks like just Cree and I having this easy peasy conversation, and we are, and it's a ton of fun. But there are people even in another state right now who are running production for what we're doing. And it's that whole collaborative spirit of employ the people who are genius at and can fast track what you're doing, because heaven forbid Ammie have to learn these things and run this whole production by myself. Like, it would be non-existent. I could not. Let's just be real. I could not. You could probably do more than I could, but even then it wouldn't be this, right?
One of the great things I found out through my Twitch stream was just how great it is to have someone who knows how to work a computer to the nitty gritty. We had a technical issue with the sound coming from the game. And while I was able to vamp a little bit and still talk to my viewers and have a little bit of fun, they were back behind the scenes, clickety-clackety, 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 trying to figure out, okay, how do we fix this? And before I knew it, it was fixed. We had the audio going. We were able to have even more fun with the Twitch stream. You can't trade that in for anything in the world. The Speyre Network is really constantly working to keep us going.
That is so true. And not only that, the thing that I love about the collaboration and the brand management portion of it, let's lump it all into one for a quick second. The fact that I love that the reach has grown exponentially. I mean, talk about growing a brand and you have only your audience. I mean, how slow is that going to go?
Ooh, I'll tell you. To grow your own audience by yourself, you have to be able to change your hat at a moment's notice. It is constant fluctuating, constant thinking, and you'll find yourself getting stuck into one frame of mind. And that's the biggest hindrance to your growth, because you won't be able to pause for a second and think, okay, maybe you don't have to post that specifically, or you can post it this way. That kind of thought doesn't come to you when you are struggling to do it all by yourself. But when you have a team, they're able to look at your stuff and be like, hey, why don't you just do this? Right. And it'll come so simple from their mouths. And you'll sit there for a second and doubt yourself. Like, why didn't I?
But that's because it's the other 27 conversations.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. You need the 28th conversation to make it complete.
Once you get that 28th conversation, you're like, oh, well, I just made this a lot harder than I needed to. Thank you so much. That's the great thing about collaboration.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think it's really interesting. For me specifically, I'm used to being that sounding board for so many other people and businesses that, they're presenting their problems and I'm like, oh, it's this, 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 and this. And we can easily construct something around this. That's simple, right? Because in my mind, I'm used to process and I'm used to pulling big problems from a big picture into actionable steps and getting you down into the micro to make it happen and not just living in the dream of the macro of it all.
Yeah.
And so for me, having the support team in the background for my business is so funny because I realize how my clients feel. Like, it's very humbling when someone is like, oh, it's just Ammie, just flip that switch right there.
Like, oh, I looked at that switch for like 30 seconds. I didn't even think of that. Thank you.
Right. And so, I have to be on both sides of the coin sometimes, and it's funny and it's humbling, and you really just have to be a team player with it all and say, you know what, this is why they're here, because I can't do that.
To be honest, one of the things I loved about theater over film was the collaborative spirit that comes with putting on a production. Of course, there are times where it's like, okay, that's the lighting specialist, let the lighting guy handle the lights, you know. But there's always this air of you can come help, you can come learn something new to contribute to the whole. You know, you can make the production better just by offering more of your time. And I've carried that with me in everything that I've done, from creating the usual Rangers 5 and how we make our costumes and travel to conventions, and going as far as just my own work. I have done so many small collaborations that I don't even think of them as collaborations. You know, it's natural to work with other people. And once I found the Speyre Network and they were doing that with me, it was like, oh, awesome. So I just found it on another level. It's great.
So speaking of collaboration and with the people, I do want to get to a video of something that you recently did with some other cosplay actresses. And guys, before they roll this video, let me just say this one thing about Cree. One of the reasons why you are quickly becoming one of my favorite human beings is because you are so collaborative, and it comes from a very loving, humble place of saying, how can I help others and make something amazing for us all? And that's exactly what you did with this. I want to run this video very quickly, and then I want us to talk about it. So if we can watch this clip of the Pass the Brush. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, so you took several actresses and had this idea because you saw something online. And again, it's not always creating something on your own, but it's more, how can I take something that I've seen and make it my own, and really bring in a lot of people who will make it even better than I could make it by myself. So tell me a little bit about that Pass the Brush video and how it just blew up, because it did.
Ooh, yes, blowing up. That is the best way to put it. I was reached out to one of my friends, Valeria Tenuzzi. She, when I say I have worked with this woman on a lot of things, I have worked with this woman on a lot of things. And what we'll do is we'll randomly message each other things. You know, we'll say, hey, you should do this, or hey, have you seen this? And just exchange ideas, because that's what we always do together. And then she showed me the original video, the original Pass the Brush challenge, which was just girls going from no makeup to makeup. And she was like, do this in cosplay and do it now. It took no time at all. I was already messaging people. The second she said sent, I was messaging other girls, because it was such a good idea. And the fact that I have someone like that on my side is what really pushes my collaborative spirit. So after getting the girls together and putting them all in the message group, and I was like, hey, I want to make sure everyone has a cosplay that they are proud of, a cosplay that makes them stand out in the video, because you can have a whole bunch of girls in the video and it'll just kind of blend in together after a while. I was like, no, I want to find girls of all different body types, girls of all different shades, girls of all different skill sets, follower count. I want all of you guys in this video, because each of you will bring something special and different. And that's what I really wanted to capture with this video.
Well, I think you did. I think it's really interesting. I think we only played maybe a quarter to a half of the whole video, but if you want to see that full video, I think it runs about 2 minutes, with all these amazing ladies who are, you know, putting on these costumes and sharing all of the goodness that comes with their skill even. I mean, because there's a lot of skill that goes into building these costumes and the makeup. That can be found on Cree Michelle's social media, Instagram. What are you, Brown Sugar Outlaw on Instagram?
Yep.
And, yeah, right. And then on Facebook as well, because I think I saw it on Facebook the other day. It is incredible to watch all of these ladies come together. And you have several versions. You have a princess version to where you pass the brush and everybody becomes these princesses. Just automatically.
It was a lot of fun to make these, because I made the one for just the cosplayers, and I handpicked these girls because I've been following them for a while, I've been friends with them for a while, and I've been keeping up with their work. Like, I'm going to find the moment that I can work with you. And I pounced the second I saw it. And then I made one for male cosplayers, which, to be honest, male cosplayers don't get a lot of shine, because, you know, when you have the pretty girl in the front, we want to see the pretty girl. So I made one for male cosplayers, men that I searched for, men that I have followed for a long time, because I wanted their talents to be seen as well. And their video did incredibly well, way beyond what we thought it was going to do.
That's
And
awesome.
then you have the princesses. Oh my gosh, the princesses. I didn't mean for this to be a world building moment, but we had girls from Brazil, we had girls from Italy, we had girls from the far sides of Europe, all over the United States. It was this beautiful, beautiful moment once we got the video together that I could look at all these girls and be like, we're not in the same time zone. I don't even know if we're going to meet, but we were able to make something so much fun and so beautiful together. It was just, it made every moment of stress that went into making the video absolutely worth it.
Well, that's called business, because
Yes.
there's so much ugly that happens behind the scenes for everything, for every one piece of like perfectly curated something that's online, whether it's your marketing, your website, social media, a quick video. Nothing's just a quick anything.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. To be
There's
honest, one of the girls suggested that we do, I was asking them to go from just their regular look to a princess look because all of them work for princess companies. And one of the girls was like, hey, would it be okay if we did like messy princess to pretty princess? And this light bulb, this huge light bulb just went off on my head. I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Because this way children who watch it won't be like, who's that random girl? Well, she's not really Tiana. No, they'll see the princess from the beginning to the end. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I asked you specifically to join this video. And I was able to hear your input to make everything even better. It changed the entire project to make it just this explosive thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think part of the collaboration, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to bring in people to collaborate, but I want them to do what I want them to do, and they're my people now. And no. You have to listen more than you speak, and that's really key. Yeah, listen more than you speak, and that's hard from a talker like me.
And I get that, because when you get on that track and you're like, okay, I can do this and I can do that and I want to do this, you get so built up and worked up that you don't take a second to pause. I remember when I was younger, I really had to work on that. And that's one of the reasons why theater was so great for me, because it taught me, hey, there's more than just what you see. There's so much more going on behind the scenes. And maybe you should go back there and see what's going on. Get involved, learn more, hear more. And since then, I've practiced that in every aspect of my life.
Well, it's showing, and I want to leave everyone right now with a big thank you to you, but also tell everybody where you can be found and what's coming up next for Cree Michelle.
Ooh, there is a lot coming up next for Cree Michelle. I've started Twitch streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you can find me on Twitch at Brown Sugar Outlaw, and pretty much all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Brown Sugar Outlaw.
I love it. So thank you, Cree, for joining us today. This was a lovely discussion. I am so glad that I get to know you and get to be a part of your journey. I always feel blessed and honored when people allow me to do that with them. And so even touching the smallest part, thank you for that. Oh, I love her. Right. Okay. So, but I also want to thank the Speyre Network, because they are the brains and the tech behind all of the production, not only for Cree, but for what you're watching right now. I could not do it without them 100%. And they're doing a lot of really good productions for not only like the local Savannah community, but for the global audience. And that's kind of where we fit, right? Both Cree and I fit more in a global audience. And so it allows us to reach so many more people and interview so many more people that don't have to be right here next to us, because we have crazy cool tech guys behind us and beside us and moving us along and really challenging us to do new and innovative things. And I so need that. So huge thank you to the Speyre Network. But before I let you guys off the hook here, I do want to share with you a couple of things that are coming up for me. Imagine that. We hosted a webinar yesterday called The Power of Pivoting, and that was so much fun. So much goodness was shared. We're actually doing it again. That is happening on April 31st. And so I will plug a link in below this comment, or in a comment below this video or somewhere, right? we'll figure it out after I get off the line here. But there will be a link to register for that webinar. You absolutely do not want to miss this. The power of pivoting is all about the shifts, the small little details that you really need to shift in your business right now, because now is not normal. And you can't continue on as business as usual, and you can't sit idle. And so we're really working through how to look at your business with a more creative lens. I think that yesterday was very eye-opening for a lot of people to see their business in a very different light, and to see opportunity even in crisis or pandemic. There is opportunity, and that's exactly what we're going to work through on that webinar. You don't want to miss this. I mean, it was so insightful and so much goodness. It's pretty incredible, and I can't wait to share that with all of you. So go ahead and register. It only takes a minute. It's fantastic. It's also live, so you get to ask questions of me that are very specific to your business even, and I field as many questions as I can get through in that hour time period. It's great. It's my gift to the community, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. Now, one other thing before I let you off. If you would like to be a guest on the DoverDrive Experience, if you have value to share with the business community, regardless of industry, right? You can see that I've had lots of different industries, from healthcare, product launch, marketing, television, even cosplay. And that's just in the last 2 weeks of airing the show, that we've hit a lot of different industries. The back end of business and the way that you're structuring your business and the goodness that you have to share really can be broadcast and help so many people. And it's not industry specific. So if you're really looking for a medium to get that message out and to share your good story about how you're doing amazing business, then reach out to me. You can do that. I'm on all the social media platforms at Ammie Dover, and you can find me on ammiedover.com. So wherever you're watching this right now, you can even probably PM me from this platform, from this live stream video, or if you're watching the replay. So you have a couple of action items. You have a couple ways to connect with Cree. Find her at Brown Sugar Outlaw everywhere online. You can find me online at ammiedover.com. And, if you're really looking to connect at a much deeper level and really take your business to that DoverDrive Experience level, I want to hear from you. So until we see you live next week, have a great weekend. Bye, guys.